Sure. The news was reporting people getting sick, acting strangely, and then biting people. And those bitten were becoming infected and biting people too, like zombies. But that was impossible. I told myself it had to be a prank or a mistake. Maybe it was a viral marketing strategy for an upcoming Walking Dead movie or another spin-off. Despite the reports, we were allowed outside for recess. Nobody thought there was any real danger to the public outside of the nearby Disneyland park at that point. The news was reporting that it was contained. Whatever it was contained. I was with a few friends in the field, tossing around a football during recess when
Soccer.
I saw a figure standing in the trees about 100 yards away. He was in the shadows, so I couldn't tell much about him, but he looked strange. The outline of him didn't look human. "What's that?"
Your
I
mama.
asked my friend Dave. He looked where I was pointing, and as he did, the figure ducked behind the trees with a quick sidestep, disappearing behind the trunk of a large oak tree. "What? I don't see anything," Dave said, handing me the ball. "Your throw. What's up with you today, man? You're acting so weird." I tried to explain to him that I had seen someone, but he wasn't listening, just walking back to a distance so I could throw the football to him.
Soccer ball.
After a few seconds, I did, but then I took another worried glance back at those trees. Maybe I was mistaken, but I could have sworn the silhouette I'd seen looked like... No, it couldn't have been. I shook my head and told myself I was imagining things. After recess, we had English class, and I was seated beside the window again. My eyes kept drifting outside and towards that tree line, where I saw figures moving towards the school. But I couldn't say anything. Frozen with fear, I sat there watching them as Mrs. Blackwood talked about Shakespeare. And eventually, I began to tremble and shake violently as I saw them approach the school. Finally, the sound of window glass breaking in an adjacent classroom broke me from my stupor, and I screamed, pointing outside at the growing horde. But by then, it was too late. Others were inside. The PA came on announcing a school-wide lockdown, telling students to hide under their desks and teachers to lock their doors.
Are you serious?
Mrs. Blackwood went to do that, and just as she was about to shut the door, the door burst open, and several Disneyland mascots trampled into the room, their mouths soaked red with blood.
Ugh.
Their white-gloved hands were covered in viscera and chunks of organs, and Mickey and Goofy were making rageful, hungry-sounding grunts and groans. "Mickey!" one ill-guided girl yelled, jumping from her chair, either not seeing the blood or not caring.
You dummy!
Instead, only wanting a hug from her favorite cartoon character.
Run!
"Macy, no!" The teacher screamed and pushed the girl out of the way. She got between them.
Oh,
and
no.
a second later, Mrs. Blackwood was being pulled out of the room by her hair by Goofy and Mickey. They were both fighting over who would get to eat her first. More Disneyland employees could be seen outside, not just mascots, but ticket takers and concession stand workers. I saw a pimple-faced kid climbing in through the broken window, his hands getting sliced into pieces by shards of glass, but
Ew.
he seemed not to notice. He reached out his blood-soaked arms and began to race towards Dave and I, and the two of us ducked out of reach just in time, crawling beneath our desks and out into the hallway. Once we got out into the hall, we saw Mrs. Blackwood being eaten by Mickey Mouse and Goofy. They were on their hands and knees, cramming raw, bloody meat into their mouths. Mrs. Blackwood wasn't even dead yet. She screamed as they ate her piece by piece. Dave reached out as if to pull her away from them, but I knew it was hopeless. She was a goner. "Get in here!" Mr. Breach shouted from the classroom at the end of the hall. Dave and I ran away from the zombie-themed park workers and towards our teacher. I remembered before recess seeing the face outside the window of his class, what felt like a million years ago by now. It had made no sense at the time, but now I understood. The glassy-eyed, oversized dog face looking through the window. It was Goofy. He had been lying in wait for quite a while, building up a hunger for human flesh, building up the nerve to attack. Mrs. Blackwood screamed from down the hall, begging for mercy, but the Disneyland workers kept gorging. That should keep him busy for a while, Mr. Breach said, pushing us into the classroom and blocking the door with a chair. "What are you doing?" I asked. "We need to get out of here. We need to run."
Uh-oh.
Mr. Breach opened his laptop and turned on the news, showing us images of our city. Zombies were everywhere. It had all happened so fast. "Hunker down, boys. This handful of zombies we're looking at is nothing compared to what's out there. Looks like it'll be extended detention for both of you."
No! Zombie outbreak with Disney character? Oh my gosh. If school wasn't bad enough, now you have to stay there forever? Ugh. You guys gotta get some weapons, man. Get some grenades or something. Get a flamethrower. We gotta burn Goofy and Mickey. But let's go ahead and check out another one. Let's get it.
I'm having second thoughts. I heard my mom saying from behind the closed door of my principal's office. Can we take another day or two to think about this? This place was supposed to be my new school, and I was really looking forward to it. Compared to my old public school, with its leaky roof and old ripped textbooks, this was a palace. We'd just finished taking a tour, and I was startled to see it had an Olympic-sized swimming pool, 2 basketball courts with a big electronic scoreboard, and a cafeteria with mouth-watering meals for breakfast and lunch. We'd gotten to sample the cuisine, and it tasted like something from a gourmet restaurant, not a school cafeteria. Which made me wonder why my mom was asking for more time to consider. According to the principal, everything was paid for because I had qualified for a scholarship. Maybe this will change your mind. I heard a soft click, and my mom gasped. "Oh, all right, but you have to promise nothing will happen to him, right?" "You have my word," the principal replied, and the door opened a second later. My mom walked out looking sad, holding her purse in one hand and a thick briefcase in the other. "Okay, dear. You have a good day at school," she said, tears in her eyes. I nodded my head, feeling worried for reasons I just didn't understand. The way they were talking scared me, and the look on my mom's face as she glanced over her shoulder nervously didn't help. But still, she walked away down the hall and left me there with the principal of my new school.
Oh.
"Welcome to Neverland Elementary," the man said with a weird
Peter
smile.
Pan.
"Come on, I'll show you to your class." We walked down the hallway, passing room after room of empty seats. I looked in the glass windows of the doors and eventually had to comment on it. "Where are all the other kids?" I asked.
Yeah.
"These other classes are empty." The man gave me one of those unsettling smiles, looking down his nose into my eyes. "Oh, we'll find them soon enough. It takes time, you know. Not everyone wants to go to Neverland." "Why not?" The man stopped in front of a classroom door and knocked before going inside. He didn't answer my question, shoving me into the room and telling the teacher that I was her responsibility now. The black-haired woman at the front of the class had a cold, stern face and thick glasses connected by a chain at the back so she could hang them around her neck if she chose to. She did so just then, giving a weight and gravity to the situation as she ushered me to my seat. There were only 5 or 6 other kids in the sparsely populated classroom, and the blackboard at the front was blank and empty. Instead of teaching us anything, the woman just stood there, like an actor between scenes waiting to start her lines. I glanced around at the other kids, gulping down a dry lump in my throat, and feeling more and more worried by the second. All the other students looked exactly how I felt. I saw one or two bouncing their legs up and down or nervously tapping